Welcome to We Learn Virtual Learning Network. This is session number 29 of Society and Religion, and the chapter is Life Cycle Ritual Death. Topics to be covered are the idea of death, Hindu funeral rites, Syrian Christian death rituals, Sikh death rituals, death and funeral among the Quakers. The idea of death. Unlike birth and marriage, which brings pleasant memories with them, death is another name for horror. Death seizes normal relations, and the fear of the body decomposing is very great. According to primitive beliefs of Hinduism, the soul survived the body. The soul went away never to inhabit the same body again. Those who were alive felt mixed sentiments towards the dead. Hindu funeral rites. There are several variations all over India of the Hindu funeral rites. After death, the body is bathed and laid out on view for all those who want darshan of the departed soul. A picture or some article belonging to the dead person is garlanded and joss sticks lit around it if this is possible. The bier of the corpse. A structure is made of bamboo which looks like a 6 feet ladder upon which the corpse is laid. The big toes of the corpse are tied together. The corpse is already covered with a white or red sheet depending upon the status of the dead. It is a married woman, then a red shroud is used. The funeral procession. The pyre is always lit by the eldest living son, except in the absence of the same, a male relative lights the pyre. The main mourners go around the funeral fire, keeping their right shoulder towards the pyre. Among the Cougs and the Kamanus, some groups go in an anti clockwise manner, keeping the left shoulder to the pyre. Collection of bones. The bones are collected a day later when the pyre has cooled off and put in earthen pots. These pots are taken to a river and immersed there. Holy men's bones and ashes are made into a memorial called a samadhi. On the fourth day from death, a prayer is organized for the peace of the departed soul. Finally, a prayer is held annually for the departed soul. Syrian Christian death rituals. In the Syrian Christian church, there is no such ritual as the extreme unaction or last rites. The priest is usually at the bedside, and as the end approaches, prayers are chanted. The priest whispers the basic doctrinal beliefs in the dying person's ear. When death occurs, women commence weeping and beating their procession to graveyard. The dead body is anointed with oil by the priest. The sign of the cross is made on the face and knees with oil. The funeral procession then leaves for the church to lay the body to rest. Purification ceremony, it is known as Pullakuli, was held thereafter. This custom was borrowed from the Namburdris. Except daily wage earners, the mourners do not keep engagements till the 14th day. On this day, a special ceremony is held at the end of which the priest blesses everybody by letting them kiss the back of his hand. Sikh death rituals. Sikhs are of the view that in a hot climate, the funeral should take place quickly, preferably a day after the death has occurred. They practice cremation. Burial at a sea is permitted. The ashes can be buried, and this has happened in the case of samadhis and shrines of saints. Cremation is attended by the entire family. The body is washed and it is ensured that the five symbols of Sikhism adorn it, that is, the kirpan, kacha, kanga, kada, and kesh. It is taken on a bier to the cremation ground in a procession, and the mourners sing hymns. Kada Prasad, an important social custom which has deep cultural significance in Sikh rites, is the distribution of Kada Prasad. The sharing of the food has deep meaning and signifies the continuity of social life at a time when it is ruptured. Death and funeral among the Korkus. When a man is close to death among the Korkus, the dying person is served rice, water, or plain water to drink. If he is unable to swallow it, he is considered to be close to death. He is then laid on the ground. If a Korku dies on a bed, then that bed is discarded forever. Korkus lament every death in the clan. The women strike themselves on their head and chest. The funeral procession. When all funeral arrangements are ready, the procession begins. The eldest son carries with him an earthen pot containing rice water. If the eldest son is not there, a younger brother or close relative takes over. At half distance to the graveyard, the group stops. Women do not accompany the procession as their wailing and crying disturb the spirit world. If the burial ground, a hole 3 feet is in depth is dug. A north-south direction is kept, the face being kept looking north. The southern bottom where the head is kept is coated with cow dung and leaves. Flour and turmeric is sprinkled around the grave. The body is placed on its back with head to the south facing north. A coin is sometimes put into the mouth of the deceased so that he or she may use it in the next world. Post funeral customs. When the funeral is over, the mourners bathe in a close by river or bathing sea. They wear a turban which is washed later. The bonds with the deceased are broken at about halfway point under a bare tree. A brass pitcher full of water is carried back, and a little water is poured in each person's hand. He waves it over his head and drops it on his left foot. The post liminal rites continue. In the evening, at the house of the mourning, a floor silhouette of the man is drawn. It is usually 10 centimeters long. Atop of this, a basket is kept upside down. After an hour, the basket is removed and the silhouette is examined. The memorial banquet is held about 2 weeks later. All the guests contribute to it. At the start, a goat and some chickens are sacrificed. These are an offering to the dead and helps the spirit to find peace. Once this sacrifice is over, the spirit comes to the middle post of the house. Here, a prayer is offered for 45 days after the banquet. Memorial feasts, the post-liminal rites described above, are not complete, and after 1 year, a ceremonial feast is given. It is only after the Sidoli feast that the spirit is finally laid to rest that incorporation into the other world is considered to be complete. A memorial post called Munda is erected out there. It's usually 2 feet below the ground and 3 feet above it and is square in shape. So these are some of the questions. You have to do it yourself. What are the main points of the Syrian Christian funeral? And describe the main points of the Sikh cremation in 5 to 7 lines. That's all. Happy learning. We learning.